Welcome back to Nintagious. Let's play some mini Motorways. I'm feeling still pretty ramped up and wanting to play some more. It is a new day from our last recording session, so we have a new daily. I think we're just gonna hop right on in. I think that some facilities are always round again. Yeah, and start with 5 motorways and no further motorways are offered. Okay, 5. I don't often find myself using more than 5, so I think that'll probably be fine. Hopefully this isn't a total nightmare, like yesterday's daily was, that I essentially had to rage quit on. That one was pretty stupid. So hopefully this is nothing like that. A comfortable challenge would be lovely. And then I'll probably record a couple of episodes tonight, so I think we'll move on, it's just like that. Head back to, like, the later levels to try and get 1000s. I think that's what I'm going to consider to be my finishing point. I think that's when I'll say, like, okay, I've done enough with this game. Let's check out the first game as well. I'm not wanting to rush into that too quickly, but I am also excited to check it out. So I think that'll be my milestone of not only finishing all of the main maps, like base maps, not the challenge modes, but also getting 1000 points to unlock the challenge modes, because then they'll be there if I want them. There was also a patch when I booted up today. I don't know what was in it. If I had to guess, it was probably just some bug fixes. Mostly because I checked the developer's Twitter and they made no mention of it, which leads me to believe that it wasn't anything major. Maybe it was like performance issues or something. I don't know. There were some like sluggish issues when the maps really start getting busy later. Excuse me, I was thirsty. Which, the performance issues weren't that bad, but it would still... You know, if I were a game developer, especially like an indie game developer, that didn't really have to worry about... I would assume that if you're a developer that works for like a AAA company, then I would assume that you can't fix everything, because they probably have to question, is this a thing that is worth fixing? Is this going to, like, improve sales, or at least improve fan reception? So they might not fix everything. Whereas, if I were, like, a smaller indie developer, I would probably try to fix everything I can, and try to just make it as flawless an experience as possible. So when it comes to optimization and stuff like that, I'd probably keep pushing and be like, nah, let's get this a little bit better. Now that's me. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I know that I work that way when it comes to art. That'll be kind of like, with little details, I'll be like, nah, I can do better than this. Let's give it an extra day, and I'll keep polishing it up a little bit. I actually have been playing around with the idea of maybe trying to get back into coding, and it's probably safe to say that at this point, because by the time this, as per usual, by the time this episode airs, it'll probably be like 2 months after when I recorded it, because I just have so many mini Motorways episodes right now. But I can't stop myself from playing it. I keep wanting to play more, so it's not slowing down, which is why I talked a lot. Was that in the last episode? Maybe the episode before that? Maybe it was both of them. I talked about how I decided to start airing the episodes twice a week instead of once a week, just to get through that buffer a little bit faster. Hoping that not only can I get them out there, but maybe it will encourage me to record some other playthroughs too, because I won't think, oh, but I already have such a large buffer, why would I continue to record more? Which, if I'm enjoying recording, I shouldn't have roadblocks in the way like that, right? It should, especially since I've gotten it, as far as editing goes, I've gotten it kind of automated. Not like fully automated. I would love to make it fully automated. That would be fucking sick, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I can at least record an episode, take it into the editing software, trim it down, slap an intro and an outro on it, and it's good to go. And it just has to re-render. I figured out, like, with the codecs and everything, that it just kind of more or less takes care of itself. The only thing that I could possibly get more automated there is if I could tell it, like, to automatically handle the transitions, but it's not that big of a deal. It's burned down enough that I'm like, editing's no big deal now for me. Which was a pretty big step, because I used to really just despise editing. This is awful. I hate this. I think we're gonna go ahead and use a motorway here. It's maybe not the best idea, but I don't think looping this all the way around here is a good idea either, because inevitably we do that, and then yellow houses are going to spawn over here, and they're going to screw it all up. I think this is, and I'd rather keep them separate at the moment if I can, so I think this is maybe the best bet at the moment. It's just a matter of sticking it down in a way that I don't hate the way it looks. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I think I'm just going to have to settle for that. You hate to see it. Anyway, so that's made it that I don't have to, like, hesitate when I record things now, because I know that that's all taken care of. And most of that came down to me making the intro, making the outro, getting everything ready to go so that I could just slap it on there. And it took me a while, especially with the outro, to figure out what I wanted to do. And, like, oh, you would. You fuck you. See, that took me a while to figure that out. I'm gonna move this down here. We're just gonna have to integrate these two, I think. So I don't want other stuff to get in the way of doing more recording, which at the moment is I already have. Oh my god. At the moment is I already have a really big backlog. Hard drive space is a bit of an issue. Stuff like that. I hate it, but that's what the game's gonna throw at me, I guess. I kind of saw that coming. But, yeah, I've been kind of thinking about getting back into coding a little bit. I had a brief run with coding, and I mean brief. I think it couldn't have even been 6 months that I was playing with that stuff. Maybe a year. It was all while I lived in Virginia, so it was absolutely in the span of 2 years. I don't really recall further than that. Looks a little bit nicer, I think. And I wasn't able to, like, produce any projects or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to oversell it for sure. I did get to a point where I was able to kind of, like, within, like, a weekend or a week, I was able to put together, like, shoddy prototypes of, like, hey, this is a game idea I have, which I was already, like, pretty impressed with that, to be honest. It was very rough, but it was enough that I was able to be like, I could sit down and play it and be like, how does this feel? That doesn't feel quite right. For example, I had an idea. God, I hate you so much. Just with almost my entire body. It's okay. We're about to get an upgrade anyway. We'll take another bridge. Realistically, I don't have to use this bridge. I think I'm going to edit that back out. Oh my god. Frame rate. I'm gonna edit that back out really quick and save that bridge. So I wasn't doing anything impressive with coding by a long shot, but I also thought that it was impressive that I was able to learn it pretty quickly. And then I kind of... I guess it was a while ago. I don't really remember why I decided to stop playing around with it. But I did. And then that computer eventually died. So unfortunately, everything I had built up until that point was lost on that hard drive. Because that's how the computer died. The hard drive failed. So I just lost everything, which was unfortunate. Coincidentally... The one game idea that I was like really pushing along, like I put a lot of time into to try and figure out like, is this something that I like the idea of? And if I were to have gone back to any of those ideas and tried to continue them, that's the one I probably would have picked up. And it just so happened that it was very similar to Vampire Survivors. When Vampire Survivors came out, and I didn't notice it at first, and I'm not trying to say that they stole the idea or anything. I never showed the idea to anybody, so there's no way that they could have stolen it, unless they were, I don't know, hacking and stealing my ideas. But why would they do that? Because I wasn't a game designer. Anyway, after playing it for a bit, I was like, this is remarkably similar to that idea I had. I don't even remember what I called it. It wasn't like a game yet. It was just a prototype, so it didn't have a name. It had like a code name, like a project name. But as far as like the core gameplay of the idea was that you just kind of moved around and like dodged enemies that were moving, and they just kind of died to like the attacks that you were launching out. Now I didn't have any of the like leveling up and I think there was leveling up, but there wasn't like choosing abilities from level ups or anything. But the core gameplay was still kind of there, and that's just a happy coincidence. But I would probably have to relearn everything if I were to pick it back up now. I think I will take the traffic lights. We don't really have room for roundabouts at the moment. But a friend and I have been tossing around an idea lately that was like a complete accident. It was just one of those things that like one conversation, just like one thing led to another, and the next thing we knew, we were kind of like accidentally making a game. And I've been kind of thinking about picking it back up to try and prototype that and see, can I take that anywhere? The inevitable problem with that, and as I get older and older, I realize just how much of a problem this is and how much I hate it. But, hold on, I'm trying to figure out that this needs solving. We don't want these houses all on that road. I have so many things I want to create, and I don't have a lot of time to do it in, is what it comes down to. I want to create content for the YouTube channel. I want to create artwork. I'm not just stepping back just to the YouTube channel. I want to create video content and I want to stream. I enjoy doing both at this point, and I also kind of want to pursue that, trying to put some time into like making games. I feel like I almost need to, because I feel like, big yikes, that's going to be another motorway. I feel like with how much I enjoy gaming, that I almost, like, owe it to... I don't know how I want to put this. Both the motorway and the thing I'm saying. Gaming has given me so much that I feel like I maybe need to, like, give something back. Does that make sense? And for a while... Well, I wouldn't say it like that, because I still find this satisfying. One of the ways I've found to do that is finding projects that are being kickstarted that I'm like, oh, I really like this idea. Let's put some money towards this to help this along. And that was one way for me to be like, this is a way for me to like give back and help new projects be created that I believe in. You motherfucker. Everything about this is terrible. But I would also kind of like to try my hand at designing games. I think I have a lot of ideas. The problem is I don't know if I have the patience to code any of it myself. I feel like, especially if I was going to also do the graphics, that's a major time investment. And I guess my bigger problem with lack of time, it's not necessarily the lack of time, it's that, again, as I get older and older and adulthood grips me harder and harder, it's a feeling of like I have to justify the time I'm spending, I guess is what it comes down to. I have to look at the things that I want to do and say, which of these are paying the bills so that I can, like, you know, live. And looking at something like making a game, it's very inevitable that that is a leap of faith, I think. I have very little experience there. I don't, aside from playing a lot of games, I don't know anybody that has the experience. So it's a complete leap of faith. I would have to sacrifice a lot of time into, I don't like this. I'd have to sacrifice a lot of time into trying to make it happen, and what if it doesn't work out? Then I have nothing to show for it, right? When I could have been creating, I could have been working on the channel more, or I could have been more aggressively marketing myself as an artist to try and get commission work or something, or find a game that's already being made that is looking for artists or something like that. That might be a better use of my time, and this is something that has become crippling to me over the years, over like the last like 5 years in particular, because I remember a time when I made things just because I wanted to make them and not because I was like, is this worth my time? Is this going to like make a living? And you know what? I think I'm going to just cheese this with another motorway. Yeah, give me a moment here, because connecting this in any other way is going to cause way too much traffic to be flowing through that like main area. So I think I'm going to connect it like that. And then we're also going to look at, turn you around. I think we're going to want to put, that helps a lot, actually. Might not have to worry about this too much. I think we should drop some traffic lights in this neighborhood somewhere. Oh, that is a... we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I believe. It is a circular facility, but it's fine. But, yeah, I don't know how to get that back, and I'd like to get it back. I look at, to put it bluntly, younger artists, and I think, I see them just doing stuff just because they think of an idea, and they're like, I like this idea, I'm gonna make it. And I don't do that anymore. I think of an idea, and I'm like, I like this, and then I put it on a list for a rainy day, because I'm like, well, there's other things I should be doing instead. And it just leads to a lot of stuff not getting made. And I guess I just have to figure out how to capture that again, is kind of what I'm getting at. And I think that's the problem with looking at trying to create games, is I know how much of a time commitment it's going to be, and I know what else I could be doing with that time. Because let's say, I'm able to, like, cobble together a semi-functional prototype, something not unlike what you would see, what you would have once seen on websites like Newgrounds. Like, what say like I would be able to do that in like, let's say, a month. And even then it's probably not going to be terribly well polished. It's probably going to be pretty sloppy still. But in that same amount of time, I could probably pick up and complete why? You're just gonna have to wait. I don't have anything for you at the moment. It's gonna happen. They're not gonna let me wait. Alright, what am I gonna do here? This is gonna need to be addressed, because otherwise they're just gonna keep dumping houses in there. So what do I want to do with it? I think okay, well, it's a work in progress. I think we're going to connect it to this facility and then disconnect this road so that they're, like, dedicated to that facility, I think is the plan. Oh, motherfucker, what was I saying? Yeah, let's say I could slap something together like that. Like, okay, like, let's take Vampire Survivors, for instance, and I definitely don't want this to be seen as me being negative about it, because I think that's a very good idea, and I follow that game fairly closely. I actually even played it in a couple of updates, because I just haven't had the time, but I really like what they're doing. But when the game first came out, it was very much like not basic. But as far as, like, features go, it wasn't, like, really elaborate, right? It was kind of just a proof of concept of, hey, here's an idea, do you guys like this? And then he started adding to it over time. If I'm looking, which is totally fine, I think that's a completely fine way of doing things. If, let's say that original concept took him a month or two to put together. I have no idea how long it did take him to put together. It might have taken him less time, it might have taken him more time, I have no idea. I think he does have a little bit of game design experience before that particular title, so I'm not totally sure. We'll take another bridge, that's fine. But in that same amount of time, with, like, what I have commissions priced as, I could probably, like what was it? Hold on, let me math this. Let me calculate this really quick. Just real fast. Say, if I were to, like, put out a call of action of, like, hey, I need some clients for some commissions in that same amount of time, a month or two, I could probably make, like, 600 to maybe 1,500. Oop, my bad. Depending on how quickly I work. So that's the comparison, and maybe this is the fault here, because now I immediately look at that and I say, well, I could put this time into trying to create a game in that amount of time and make no money. I'm just going off of the leap of faith that maybe eventually I will make money. Or I could just do something else that's actually going to make money. You know what I mean? And that's where I start to derail, and I'm like, well, I might as well just do the thing that actually makes money, right? How do I stop that, is what I'm getting at. How do I get myself out of that mindset and back to a mindset where I'm just, here's an idea that I like, I'm gonna make it. I don't know. That's the thing. That's the whole point of this conversation, if you hadn't figured that out. I don't know. Wish I did. I wish I could find it again. This is, again, turning into... This area sucks. This area's ass. let's do this. I want to give the blues a different way of getting there so that they don't have to go through like this mini neighborhood is what I'm trying to get at. Everyone still is connected to where they need to go, right? The yellows are still all connected. The reds are all still connected. Okay, let's try that and see if that helps at all. I think we should maybe drop some traffic lights in there too, but I need to let these new roads settle first and see what we're working with. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to solve that problem. And it's something that's been haunting me, like, this year especially. Because I kind of realized, like, I don't even remember what that made me have that moment where I was like, man, I used to just draw because I wanted to. What happened? I would just get an idea and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. And that's been what it's like with this friend of mine when we're talking about this game ideas. It's just been something I've wanted to do and I've just been having fun with. And that's just like early planning stages. Do I just want to connect to this like this? I guess. One intersection's not the end of the world, right? I don't love it, but it should be okay. As long as we don't get too much traffic there. That's even better. Thank you. Except I don't have a lot of road, so I'm gonna have to leave this in for now. And I guess the unfortunate thing at the end of the day is I don't talk to a lot of other artists. Which, like, I've just kind of... Honestly, even, like, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when I did talk to more artists, I still didn't talk to many. I'm not that social. I'm very introverted, for sure. And, but I've kind of lost touch with pretty much all of them. And I think I basically have, like, one artist friend. Now, I guess... Well, content creation is slightly different. Because I have a lot of streamer friends. At least I would call them friends. But I feel like that's a little different. But maybe, well, okay, it's different because we're smaller streamers. So we don't have to put quite as much weight into, is this idea worth doing or not? We still do, but it's different, is all I'm getting at. For the most part, we can sacrifice, oh, this week I'm just going to do this thing that I want to do, and if people don't like it, then they can deal with it. Like, if the algorithm doesn't like it, they can deal with it, might be a better way of putting it. I have a lot of bridges. I don't really need traffic lights, but we're going to take them anyway. And then we're going to reconnect this. Oops. Or re-disconnect this. It's a weird way of putting it, but you get me. Connect that there. Got another house there. Knock wood. This is going pretty well, especially considering I would argue that my mind is more on the banter than it is on the gameplay, which you think would immediately make the gameplay worse, especially judging by other episodes where I've gotten on tilt because the two are competing for my attention span and... Not attention span, that's a weird way of putting it. My focus is maybe a better way of putting it. I guess it's the same thing, whatever. And then I immediately get tilted. This one I seem to be autopiloting a little bit better. I would like to get a drink, so could you stop spawning more fucking houses, please? Oh no? That's fine, I guess, as long as nothing bad happens. But, maybe... I think I have, like, on Discord people that I could contact, like, right away. I think 3 people. 3 artists that I could talk to. One of them I talk to, like... Not every day, but pretty damn frequently. Like, probably, like, this is such a weird way of putting it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. He's, like, a top 5 friend, for sure. Like... I've known him for, like, probably about 20 years. And it's interesting because, like, I think he had... What am I supposed to do with these houses, by the way? Those are just useless to me. I think he has a wider variety of creativity that he's played with over the years. Like, he's dabbled more in animation than I have. He's dabbled with 3D modeling, etc. He's experimented with different mediums, I guess is what I'm getting at. I guess I'll take the bridge. I don't know what to do with these blue houses, but I think doing something with them is important. Because this facility kind of needs the help. I think we're gonna have to put a motorway down. I don't like this. This is very delicate. Because we don't want our yellows up here to have access to the motorway. If they have access to the motorway, they're going to come down here and they're going to feed into this whole area to try and help these 2 facilities out, which is honorable and everything. Like, I love your energy, but it's going to ruin traffic patterns. It's just going to be super duper bad. So I think we need to put it, like, up here. And like that. I don't like it. But I think it's a necessity. Connect you really quick. But anyway, I think I could ask that one friend about it and not have it be, like, too strange. Whereas the other ones I know that I could ask, I, like, barely talk to them, and I feel like I'm gonna get non-answers out of them. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big reason why I've stopped talking to so many artists that I've known over the years, because, like, I'd show them something and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'd give me, like, 1-word answers, like, cool. And I'd be like, motherfucker, that's not feedback? Like... And I feel like those other 2 would probably still give me that. They would probably still just be like... If I were to present that dilemma of, like, hey, I want to get, like, the... I don't know how to put this. I was gonna say, like, the childlike wonder that I once had, where, like, I just drew things just because I wanted to draw things. Like, how do I get that back? I could fully 100% see one of them saying, I don't know, just do it, forehead. Like, unironically, he's gonna be like, just do it. And motherfucker, it's not that easy. It's another house that just has no reason to exist. You hate to see it. Anyway, that's something I've been struggling with this year, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. On one hand, that's helpful. I was actually hoping that would happen, but I thought if I said it, I would be saying it was... I thought it would be a mistake, so I didn't want to say it out loud. Because if I said that I wanted this to be dark blue, it was going to be probably red, if I had to guess. That probably would have been the worst possible outcome. Nah, green would have been okay. I was gonna say that green would have been pretty bad too, but I think green and light blue both would have been very easy to integrate. Red is like right here too, though. I guess if I'm being honest with myself, it might have been fine, but still we got a pretty likable outcome from what we did get. I'm not gonna complain about it. Connect this here instead. Okay, that's less good. I hate it. I'm just gonna give me all the road tiles, baby. I love it. Especially because this motherfucker had to move in. Why, dude? Done to you? I mean, I guess you can just be spit out up there. All right, now's the part where we take a... We have 1,000 points, by the way. This is going pretty well. Much better than yesterday's. That was like the seed from hell. Phrasing? Oh, come on, dude. Why you gotta be an ass? But now is the point where I have to... I had to take a... I just heard another one. There it is. I had to take a moment to scan and see, are there any issues here? Or are there any houses that popped up that I haven't addressed? I think I can disconnect this and just leave these guys to handle this facility on their own. I think we're gonna do a bit of remodeling down here. I kind of hate it. No, you don't understand. It's not much better. I still hate it. But I still think that makes sense. Let's... Well, first of all, we're going to do this. I kind of want to reconnect this up here. But then, of course, is that going to fuck up business? Why does it gotta look so awful? Can't we just... Yes, exactly like that. Stop. Work with me. Beautiful. Okay, this might be a little nasty. Work with me. Gotta wait for these guys to, like, get off of the road. Spaced for a second and almost missed it. Why do you have to be awful? Why do you have to be awful? Why can't it just be straight and not look like garbage? Okay, I guess I'm just going to leave it the way it is because I'd rather it look, you know, like that, kind of pleasant, instead of completely fucked up the other way. This area still sucks. This still sucks, but I think that's like the best we can get it. Also, this is completely fine. I have nothing to be mad about. I would have liked to turn these blues around onto here, but I just don't think that's in the cards. These. Do we have any other houses just sprinkled around that need to be, like, redirected onto roads more properly or anything like that? I don't think so. It's just this area, dude. This is just so clogged. What can I do about it? Okay. Hear me out. We're going to connect the reds directly to those facilities. Yeah, let's try that. I don't think it looks great. But it completely disconnects the reds from, like, the yellows and the blues, like, entirely. Which I think will just be a good thing in the long run. Just less congestion in this area is just better. I think we're going to turn these houses back around as well, because, again, just less traffic through this intersection. I'm starting to use traffic lights as more like markers to, like, remind myself that this is a problem area and I need to fix it. Does that make sense? So the fact that I have that traffic light there is reminding me, like, you need to address this. Like, this area is too congested. Because I know that the traffic light's not going to solve it in the long run. It's just what it comes down to. So it's kind of like, it's just there to remind me to do something about it. Why would you put a red house up there? Can we stop sprinkling houses in random spaces that they don't belong? Like, I'm getting kind of sick of it. It's very, like, disrespectful, honestly. It's like, what the fuck do you expect me to do with this again? And I can just imagine the game being like, oh, we didn't expect you to do anything. We just thought it would be funny. Is this a good idea? Oh, man. It might be too little too late. I think I can actually completely separate the yellows from the blues. It's going to be real clunky, but I think I can do it. Oh, don't run out of tiles. Don't do this to me. No, I hate that. It might not matter. Just cross your fingers for me. I'll take the bridge. Especially since I just used the bridge. You never know. Might be good to have another one. I can finally disconnect, or I can finally connect this one up here, I guess. Boy, that's going to be a long-ass road, though. I don't really want to. I think I'm going to go with the you can't make me approach. Also, this fucking yellow house, dude. Like, what are you doing? Just think you're so funny. Yeah, we're done. We're not done. We're done. We're done. The yellows are cars right there. I should have addressed that area sooner. It took me that's still a really good score. I'm happy with that. But I'm also like I should have seen sooner that I could have completely at that point I had the roads and the bridges and everything that I could completely disconnect the reds, the blues and the yellows, and that would have completely freed up that entire situation there. It just took me a little too long to notice that I could do it. Overall, a good run, though. I'm happy with that. So thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time. I'm still having a great time making these. If you did have a good time, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to let me know that I should continue making some more of this content. I think this playthrough has still has a healthy life ahead of it, and I would still like to check out Mini Metro, and I'll probably do a similar amount of episodes of that if I had to guess. If I like it even half as much as this, then I probably will. I do think I'm gonna try and do a little bit more recording in this recording session I just started. So the next episode we'll probably jump straight into, I guess, Dubai again, and see if we can do better there. Yeah, that's probably no. Let's do Mexico City, because then we get to play with tunnels, and that seems fun. I guess Wellington has tunnels too, but I think we'll do Mexico City. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves.